Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good morning to all dear students, and very good morning to our chairman, CA Vishal Doshi, our vice chairman, CA Dayanivas Sharma, and students. Very soon, our president and vice president will also be joining. And we have amongst us also our AIR ranker for the final for May 23 examination. We have with us Akshay Ramesh Jain. He's the first rank holder. Then we have Kalpesh Jain. He's the second rank holder. And then we have Gokul Sai Srikar. He's the first rank holder in the intermediate May 23 examination. Then we have Noor Singla. He's the second rank holder in the May 23 examination. So welcome to all of you. And students, today's session, like it's a series of sessions we are doing, and this plan, prepare and perform is in continuation to our previous sessions. This session we are doing it before the examination so that you people are very well geared up. This is the time you have almost done with your preparation, and certain thoughts would have been coming in your minds. Certain hiccups would have been there in your mind. Some doubts are there. So this particular session is there to give you that confidence, to tell you as to how really you need to study and use your this time and the time before the examination, how you rather go to the examination hall and give your best. So we have our chairman, sir, who is going to first talk to you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Very, very good morning to all my student friends. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this webinar just before the November 2023 exams on plan, prepare and perform. I recognize the presence of my vice chairman, CA Dayanivas Sharma ji, who is from Hyderabad. The AIRs, because this time we have changed the format of this particular webcast. And we thought it is better to hear from the horse's mouth, that is the students who are the AIRs, on how to prepare for the exams. And I take this opportunity to welcome Akshay, Kalpesh, Gokul and Noor. I also recognize the presence of Director Board of Studies, Vanna ji, and her whole team. Friends, May, November is something, that always haunts us. Let me be very honest, even after 25 years of qualification, even if today somebody talks of the May and November or CA exams, at least I definitely do get goosebumps and also come under pressure. I have qualified more than 25 years back. But those pressure times I still remember, I still recollect, and I can imagine what all of you would be going through at the present moment. And that is why we thought it appropriate that let us have this webinar where there can be some tips that can be shared with you. I believe we have got a lot of questions also from your side, where we would this time request our exam toppers to respond to them, to guide you all. Friends, I would, before I hand over the session to the other dignitaries, I would just like to share a couple of things with respect to the exams and my experience during my exam and over the years. And let me tell you, the syllabus changes, the year and attempt changes, but the pressures and some of the tricks of the trade, I would say, would still remain the same. One important thing, and I would say the most important thing, is to focus. Because what happens is typically the exam pressures are such that there are high chances of you coming under that pressures, or I would say wilting under that pressure and getting defocused. Many times you feel that, you don't want to appear, you are under so much of stress, you feel demotivated, or that you feel that you are underprepared. And I think these are the times when you actually need to pull yourself up, you need to talk to you need to maybe listen to some motivational videos or some, I would say even movies, like we have so many movies where we find sports persons and other people who are down and out, but then somehow they talk to themselves, they pick themselves up, they pull themselves up and start running, and they are able to achieve success. I believe the same mantra would apply for our CA exams also. So one thing is that not to lose focus. Second thing, definitely this being amongst the toughest exams, there is no substitute for hard work. And when I talk of hard work does not come in terms of the time that you spend. So I always believe that quality of time spent is much more important than the quantity of the time spent. I remember even during my days, I don't want to sound like an, Atwaram Tukaram Bhide, but whenever we talk of exams, definitely we would never forget to go back to our days when, our friends used to say that I have studied 16 hours, 17 hours a day, and that put me under a lot of pressure, to be very honest. But then at the end, when the results are out, I have always believed one thing, that it is the quality of time. You might study just for 12 hours, but the effective output has to be equal to 12 hours in that. There should not be anything that, your mind waves off and you are not able to focus and you are just reading the study material rather than understanding the concepts or analyzing the different aspects of it. And you are just reading as if you're reading a newspaper, this cannot be done as far as the CA exams are concerned. So your quality of the hard work that you put in is very, very important. Like I said, these are amongst the toughest exams. So with these words, I welcome all of you once again on this Sunday morning. And I believe that you would have a very, very enlightening and a fruitful session ahead. Thank you. Back to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thanks for sharing your experience with the students. I think, sir, maybe our experiences, like your experience, Vice Chairman experience, and my experience would have been very old. And our rank holders' experience is very fresh. But I think experiences, I'll say, never go old. I think it's the same at all the phases. So thank you very much. And students, you will notice that whatever is the time, whether it is 30 years back, 35 years, 25, 20, or 3 months, experiences are going to remain same only. Yes, the thoughts are what we have gone through. I think that is something is shared with all of you. So thank you very much, sir. And I'll go to our Vice Chairman, sir, now, CA Dayanivas Sharma. Sir, I think you can also share your experience as to how you had gone through, what were the hiccups you had faced, and the plus and minus at all that time, whether you should continue with this course or you should leave it. This thought had actually come to my mind also, but I think because when I flunked in the final, I missed by 2 marks, because in our times, the aggregate of first and second group was there, and I had got in the second group 198, and in the other group I had got 230. So I flunked. At that time I felt I should leave it, but no, it's something. Persistence is something, and that is something is very important. So I think I'll not come between you and the students. So over to you. Kindly share your experience so that students are well geared up for their exams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. And indeed, हार कर जीतने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं. Correct? Am I right, Akshay? Have you heard this dialogue or not? हार कर जीतने वाले को बाजीगर कहते हैं. तो हम वैसे कैटेगरी में हैं, मैडम. और ये पूरे जीते हुए, मतलब ये लोग बाजी अभी लगाए नहीं है, अभी लगा रहे हैं बाजी. However, just it was on a lighter note. Most respected chairman of the board of studies, who was actually putting in heart and soul from a lot of perspective, and we are delighted the way the entire team of board of studies, with support of Vandana Nagpal madam, is actually doing for the benefit of students. I don't know, Noor, Gokul, Kalpesh, Akshay, you had an opportunity like this to have an interaction with the aspiring chartered accountants, and if you are able to inspire their aspiration, I think you have made it. Your being passing with a rank is actually giving an impact to all the students who are going to watch you, not only today, but in time to come with their posted videos on the BOS portal. So I just want you four to actually inspire the aspirations of all those people who want to do CA. Like Madam started, that we wanted to do CA or not, we have thought. But after we took it very strongly, and I failed a couple of times, though Madam and the chairman have not gone through the process of failure. But I just wanted to continue, and just one day I got both groups to cleared at one shot. What is very important is focus on outcome, not the obstacles. Obstacles are there in every person's life. Don't think that you are an exception in the entire world. Situations are bad. Situations are worst. People have lost their parents, but still, those people have worked on the dreams of their parents. And in that tough times, I have seen a couple of people who had to go to the burial ground, lit the fire and come back, and they wrote the exam and they qualified. So there cannot be a worse obstacle than this, where the entire confidence is shaken to a level where that student would have gone to the toughest time. Understand this. We are all, whoever has not got obstacle, no, they are really luckiest people in the world who actually could do much better. But only what was left is a belief in self. If you believe self, I think you will just conquer the world. Forget about C examination. Kya hai C examination? Kuch nahi hai. It's only frame of mind here. We create fear, you fail. You create confidence here, you will pass. That is what is needed for all the students. If these four gentlemen who are sitting here have qualified with the rank, do I have jealousy for you? The answer is big no. I'm proud of you that you actually made institute feel great about certain rankers who have come. Now, I am a person who take multiple attempts. I took multiple attempts. Do I feel bad about myself? The answer is big no. After failing also, I could become a council member. That is the biggest success which I have in my hand. So success doesn't have time. It is only that you need to focus on the outcome on a regular intervals and put your efforts in the true spirit. Like, I'll just read out one statement for you. Fortunately, I got that. Madam, it's worth noting. Vishal bhai, just for your noting, and I know that you'll use it in time to come. Akshay, Noor, Gokul, Kalpesh, all listen to this. Very interesting. By getting first rank, it doesn't stop there, but there is much more which we need to motivate ourselves in time to come. Practice like you have never won. Practice like you have never won. Perform like you have never lost. You get my point? In your practice, you have to do so tough practice, assuming that you are going to fight the Mike Tysons of the world. And when you fight, when you write your exam, you just think that I'm not going to lose. I'm a winner already. Then the success will touch your feet. And it will not only touch your feet, but the way it is going to raise you up is only with one intention. Remember this point which I am telling you. You are passing, not rank. Your passing itself will elevate your parents' respect in the society, your own respect in the society. And that is how you need to actually think about going forward. These guys who are come to share with all the dear students their experience, let me tell you one thing. My father qualified 50 years back. 50 years back. You know what he advised 25 years back to me, or I think Vishal Bhai's father also is a chartered accountant. Not I think he is a chartered accountant. What his father explained him 25 years back is also same thing, which is today, which you are going to talk in your own language. That means fathers who have qualified 50 years back, what training they are giving for the CA examination is relevant even today. Only the statements are changed, the words are changed, but the fact that you should have confidence within yourself. Number two, you should always do practice. Number three, most important part is have self-confidence in yourself, which is the most important aspect. Exam, hum articleship karte hain. When we get into articleship, when the articleship start, we completed the entire process. Examination leave is coming. So first fear thing, अरे आपके बाद तो मजा कर देंगे. We'll just win it this time. By the time 2 months get over, let me just try with one group and think about what I need to do. By the time I come to the last 1 month, I think that I can get exemption and just ensure that, next time I'll do fantastic. But same confidence, if you are having for one paper and you have for a group or both the groups, you will actually make wonders. Dear students, I studied only for 19 days to write examination. I got 436 total in one shot. That means if you are positive with your frame of mind, you don't have to fear of losing. Automatically, things will come in your way. Vishal Bhai gives a very good example of Dandiya, which is, I'll request him to talk. What makes difference is that frame of mind in the entire process. And with this 2 points, focus on outcome, not those people who have gone through the toughest times in their life and they could pass CA. You are in a much better position. Only just consolidate your strength, get that energy together to, just go and burst in the examination. That will make difference. Point number one, practice like you have never won, perform like you have never lost. This point, if you remember, I think you will take the entire world together and make it whole different. Thank you all for joining us. We will give you all confidence, but you need to gather that confidence from all of us and consolidate that and put it in your pocket when you go into the examination and see the magic which is going to happen. God bless you all and wish you all the best for the coming examinations. And all four guys, we are proud of you and thank you very much for joining us. The best part about this profession is very rightly said by President. We pay and create our competitors, which is nothing but the articles. We are actually creating competition. And you guys are today going to come and share your success stories with these all people and what efforts you have put in will make whole lot of difference in people's life. As I said, you are going to inspire the aspiration of many. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. I think it would have really motivated all the students over there. And even our rank holders also, they also would have been really motivated that, yes, the journey has just started. I think this is also, they must be thinking in their mind, they have got a lot more to cover. Yes, but I think all of you are the role models for our aspiring chartered accountants. So now I would be requesting Akshay Jain, who is the first rank holder in the final in the May 23 examination. Akshay, you can share your experiences with the aspiring chartered accountants. Over to you, Akshay.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. So I understand that there's a lot of anxiety and excitement in the air. Two sides of the same coin. When you are awaiting something, there's excitement. When you are dreading something, there's anxiety. So anxiety related to the exams and excitement related to finally getting done with the exams and moving on to a lot more different things, right? So at this point in time, I would ask people not to overindulge themselves in planning, what they'll do after the exams, because I understand that that's a very exciting thing to do, but it'll be very distracting at this point in time. So currently, what you should be doing is focusing on the exams, being prepared for the exams, looking forward to the exams, and gathering all that vigor to appear for these exams. So moving on to the strategy side of things. So this is the last leg of your CA exams journey, be it intermediate or final. This is the last leg. Whatever revisions that you are going to do in the last 1 month, all of that should be focused on how you'll be revising your subjects in the 1.5 days that you'll get between your exams. That is very important. Try and make sure that every revision that you do gets covered at this point in time in 2 to 3 days at max, so that you can bring it down to 1.5 days when it comes to the final exams, right? So as Vishal sir rightly said, that hours do not really matter. What you put in those hours is what matters. But given that the curriculum is so vast, you have a lot of things to cover. We cannot be falling short on the number of hours that we are putting in. We cannot be falling short just because you have a habit of studying for 8 to 10 hours a day, right? But if you are falling short on completing the curriculum, I would request you to put in more hours, maybe take fewer breaks, right? take a lesser time in doing all the other necessary activities that you have to do, but make sure that you are covering the syllabus in your dedicated timeline and you're not just falling short of covering it just because of the number of hours that you're putting in our list, right? And also, as sir also rightly said, that 16, 17 hours, these things do not matter. Do not compare yourself with your peers. Everybody's speed is different. Everybody's efficiency is different, right? So all of that, differs from a person to person. Make sure that you know yourself, you play to your strengths, and do whatever is necessary to complete your course, your curriculum, and not looking towards what other people are doing or what they are referring to. The other important thing that you should be doing in the last month of your revisions or last month before your exams is giving tests. So, ICI has their, MTPs, RTPs. If somebody is not able to go to the center and give those tests, it would be very, very helpful if you can sit down on your table, take the 3 hours dedicated slot out of your schedule and write those tests by yourself. We also have suggested answers for all the MTPs, for all the RTPs. You can compare your answers with those, suggested answers, and make sure that you are prepared for the exams. You are ready for how the exam environment is going to be like. So there's no shock when when you are directly placed in the exam center. You are accustomed to writing exams, accustomed to giving tests, accustomed to solving problems in the given set timeline of 3 hours, and not really extending it or falling short on writing the papers, because that is a problem that a lot of people face. They are not able to complete their papers. You are just leaving marks on the table if you're not able to complete your papers, right? Even if you if you can write a paper with 50% accuracy, and if you are just able to write 18 marks because you did not have enough test writing practice, you are leaving 10 to 15 marks on the table. So that's not very good. Write tests, write as many tests as you can, all the mock tests, all the revision test papers. If you have the time, if you have the confidence, the mock test from the previous exams would also help very much. The other thing is there's a new thing in town. I think people are really glorifying how much less they are sleeping when they are studying for these exams, or they're just sleeping for 2 hours, sleeping for 3 hours. That's not very that's not really helpful. That's not improving anything. It's just hampering your focus. It's just hampering your ability to solve things, ability to grasp things. Make sure you're having a good amount of sleep. How your priorities should flow like is, you have your studies, you have your sleep, and then you have your break entertainment, right? So if you are able to complete your studies, make sure that you are using your breaks to catch up on the lost sleep, right? You're catching up on the lost sleep. If you are feeling enough refreshed, if you have enough sleep enough sleep in your body, you can move on to your breaks. You can do whatever you want to do in your breaks. So as a part of my breaks, I used to watch a lot of would not say a lot of but TV is what I went to most when I was having my breaks. So that is what I did. Anybody who has reading as a preference, they can move on to reading, music, exercising, whatever helps you float your boat. So because breaks are very important. If you're not breaking, you're not looking forward to anything other than studies, and frankly that's very boring. So have an activity that you can look forward to in your breaks, that will help you sustain the longer hours of studying. The other thing that I would want to move on is playing to your strengths. So as a person, what I find is right before exams, if I'm not revising, the entire curriculum, I do not have the entire confidence of going to the exam center and writing my exams. So I am somebody who has to revise everything, right? So right from point A to point to the end of the curriculum, I am somebody who has to revise everything if I am to write my exams, because if that's not the case, I don't really have the confidence, right? So that is who I am. So I do not really listen to people when they say that you should not be studying 1 hour before your exam. You should not be studying 45 minutes, 2-3 hours before your exams, right? So in my costing examination, which is sadly not going to appear in the next May 24 exams, because that is a subject that I really like. So in my costing exams, I was revising up until when I went to the exam center, right? So 30 minutes before the exam center, I was revising because I was not really confident in that exam because I had not covered sufficient curriculum. So while I was revising in the last 30 minutes of my exams, fortunately, a 10 marker came from that concept that I was revising right before when I went to the exam center. So, if probably my subconscious would have helped me if I did not, really revise the exams. But given that I had done that revision right the day before the exams, I was very confident in, solving that question first, I was not really demotivated when I saw that question because I had revision. So having a strong frame of mind, having a strong self-confidence within you because you have studied the subject, you have given it your all, will really help. And the other thing, as I am giving the examples of what happened in my exam. So in terms of my audit exam, so something that I had done in my internship really, really well, we had exhaustively covered it. That same concept came in my exam also. So even when I was not, very comfortable with the concept when it came to the theoretical application in the textbooks or the study material, I was very confident given that I had did that particular thing in my internship. I had practical experience of it. I was, comfortably able to write it all out. So this is for intermediate students, whoever is going for their, articleships or, industrial trainings right after the exams. Make sure that you give enough focus on what is being, done in your, in your office, or what sort of work stream are you working on. Make sure that you have a complete grasp over it. It may help, at any point in time, not particularly to exams. It may also help in your future life also. There's one more thing, ABC analysis. A lot of people are referring to, external ABC guidances, by their peers, by their seniors, by the faculties, whatever. So that is not something that you should be relying on very much, because these exams, that they are not something that you can predict. 10 mark isme se aayega, 15 mark usme se aayega. This is not something that you can really do. There are topics that are important. There are topics that are not really touched upon in the exams. That is the only bifurcation that you have. There is no sub ABC categorization. Make sure that you are covering everything. Make sure that you are thorough with everything. There's no telling what sort of questions can be asked in the exams. That's pretty much it. Stay motivated. This is the last leg of your journey. It's going to end really very soon. Wishing you all the very best, and thank you.
Thank you, Akshay. I think, Akshay, like you said very rightly, this is the last leg for the final students who are appearing in the November exam. So I think they need to hold on with their nerves. And like Akshay has advised, that study thoroughly. Don't think that you're studying for very long hours is going to make a difference. Yes, that persistence with which you are going to study with short breaks. I think that's very important, which Akshay has also said. Have something to change your mind. It's not that studies all the time. Listen to some music, or play some games, or read a newspaper, read an article. Like Akshay is saying, I think that is really going to keep you motivated and relaxed also. Thank you, Akshay. I
would just like to come in here on what Akshay said, and you reiterated about the short breaks.
Yes.
Please do not confuse with what I had confused and with that I mentioned. And I'll again go back to my exam days. Two important things which I relate with this exam now. One is that during my intermediate exam, that was in November, way back in 94 though, but we all know that this November exam is also a festival time, and myself being a Gujju, I can't stay away from the Garbas and the Navratris, so we would have that very situation coming up. And I'll just share that, yes, definitely I am a freak out for Garba. And I because Akshay mentioned about having short breaks, to be very honest, this was these 2 and 3 first couple of nights that I actually controlled myself from going to a Garba venue and playing and dancing the Garba. But after the third night, it was too much for me to resist, to control. And I remember I was all dressed up in my kurta and all, and going for the Garba that night. And my dad was there in the living room. And he just asked me, he saw me in that kurta and all with my cousin, both of us for preparing for the November attempt. And he asked me, where are you going? So I said, Dad, going for Garba, just one night and all. And at that point in time, he mentioned this sentence, which is now almost 30 years, which I still remember. And he said, Vishal, just remember whether you want to enjoy this Garba or all the Garbas of your life. So you can imagine the importance of a CA exam. It was intermediate exam at that point in time, but still my dad, as his experience, maturity, and everything, that a slight slip of focus, a slight slip of concentration. And that is where I would like to differentiate and why I barged in. My apologies to the other speakers, but Akshay mentioned about taking short breaks. Now, if I took a Garba, actually my mindset was that since 2 hours before I would start dressing up, thinking about then going out with friends, hanging out there. I would go there, play Garba for 2-3 hours, come back, and then again getting into that mood, and that level of preparation would take maybe another half an hour, 1 hour, couple of hours. So actually end in and I see it is about 8 to 10 hours that would get, I would say, now wasted by having that satisfaction of enjoying Garba for a couple of hours. So that is where I wanted to make this distinction. And another important thing, again, please pardon me, but I'm relating because it is related to this exam. Again, coming to my May 96 final examination, and over there, what the coincidence is this time, it was there also, it was a Cricket World Cup. So again, I'm pretty crazy about cricket. And again, I would like to say, friends, at that time, we never had this T20. It was a 50 overs, which we are having now. So just see to it that you are able to focus. And that is where the important part, which I mentioned about focus, comes in. Resist yourself, or I would say desist yourself from these distractions and prepare to the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, just wanted to add one more thing here. It's relatively easier to restrict yourself from doing something rather than restraining. So if somebody were to sit and watch like 10-15 minutes of cricket, they say to themselves that they'll watch let's say 3-4 overs and then they'll get back to studying. But restraining yourself at 3-4 overs is very difficult rather than restricting yourself from watching the match in its entirety. So that is something that you should probably be looking into, restricting rather than restraining. Thank you.
Right. I think
If I may add one point, madam, don't mind.
sir, please continue.
Shall I, with permission? Chairman, sir, with permission. Yeah. So only thing which I would like to add, Akshay, is basically they are professional players and they are performing their duty for themselves, for the nation as such. We are also professional players. We have to perform for our family at this point in time. Once you qualify, you will perform for the nation, undoubtedly. But at this point in time, you need to perform for yourself. They are doing their job, you do your job, and the world is going to watch you.
That's very right. So students, please understand the difference between restrain and restrict. So you should know where you need to restrain yourself rather than restricting yourself. Right. Thank you. I'll come to Kalpesh Jain now. Kalpesh, he's the second rank holder in the final May 23 examination. Kalpesh, I think you also can share your experience. That is really going to make the coming students who are going to appear in the final exams much more strong. Over to you, Kalpesh.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning, everyone over here. I think on a Sunday morning, where, as rightly said, Cricket World Cup is also happening. I'm from Chennai. Today there's a match in Chennai versus Australia. So it's very great to see people actually turning up because it's a difficult Sunday morning, last 20 days of your exams. So I think pretty much Akshay and the other panel members did cover a lot of points. So I will just try to touch upon those points which I felt which were very specific to me, and in general students face that. In the last 20 days of your exams, you have a doubt in mind whether will I be able to ace the exams or not, because it becomes a little sluggish in the last 20 days because 3 months, 4 months we've been preparing from the day one, and you would come to a point where it becomes a little difficult for you to carry on the momentum or carry on the consistency, and you feel like, can I just give myself a little break and move away. It will happen. It happened with me. In fact, just 15 days before the exam, I was actually down with fever because there was a lot of pressure on me also. Given the fact that I don't come from a ranker background in my interview, I was a person who just gave both the groups separately. So for me, it was the first time I was going to appear for 8 papers together, in fact. So it was a whole new experience for me, and there were obviously the thoughts whether I could give 8 papers at a stretch or not. So the last 20 days, I would say the first thing you need to put yourself is be very positive about yourself, be very confident. Yes, you can do it, because if you go and give up at this point of time, not only the efforts of the last 3-4 months go and drain, but the entire 2.5 years during which your articleship was there and you studied constantly simultaneously with your articleship, would also go for a toss. So I think the first thing you need to just sit down and think these next 20 days, you need to put a daily schedule, achieve those, be consistent with those, and you need not have thoughts like whether you can achieve it or not. Because believe me, the last 20 days can be make or break because you bring that momentum into examination. So I feel a lot is very important for you to just be very calm and be very positive about your approach. Be consistent. Don't think about the end result. As Dhoni rightly says, focus on the process, not on the result, basically. Today, you will have to sit and achieve your daily goals. You have made a schedule of revision. As Akshay said, that you need to just revise right now and focus on how you're going to achieve tasks. You have to just focus on that. Don't think what is going to be the output, because ultimately what is going to come as a result is something we can never predict at the point of time. So focus more on your process so that the end result is automatically in a very positive manner. That's the number one thing. Number two thing is rightly touched upon. Yeah, you need to have a good amount of writing practice. ICA has their RTPs, MTPs coming out. I feel that is very important because when you write, I think you understand two things about yourself when you give your mock test. Number one is your ability to attend the question paper. How well have you fared in terms of syllabus? How well you know the contents of each and every subject, that you get a greater understanding and find those areas where you're not really able to pick up things. Where are you finding a problem? Yeah, is this the place of concern I need to improve on? That's the one thing with respect to academical content where you'll find where I need to improve, which is my stronghold. Number two, which gives you greater idea how to attend 100 marks in an examination. See, I think it's very, very important for each student to target 100 marks in examination than just writing 80 quality marks. I think that's something which I'm a strong supporter of. Give your best to write the best 100 marks, because understand the error margin is going to be a little higher side, and therefore you need to plan yourself how will you able to attend all the 100 marks in 8 subjects. So when you write your mock exams, probably that will give you an idea how to start an exam, how to start with those questions and where you're consuming a lot of time, when to solve MCQ. So these are a very important point, a very fine points, but it gives you an edge over a lot of people. Today, if you just attempt say 90 marks across 8 papers, anyway your 80 marks are already going down into a drain. I so feel when ICA is giving you resources like MTP, RTP, and a compilation of past paper and suggested answer, so you can always pick up at the courtesy of your home. Today, everyone has an access to this. So just pick up the paper, just write it for 3 hours and compare with the suggested answer. I think we all have the privilege today. I think before sometimes we need to go to centers and write, but today we have the privilege of giving those at the comfort of our home. I think we should take advantage of that. So that becomes very important to understand how the writing practice goes about, and you need to ensure that are you able to complete all the 100 marks? Where is the strong foothold? So that is something very important at this point of time. And the last 20 days, as rightly pointed out, it's the last academic leap of your journey. I think when you're in final or intermediate, these 20 days, 25 odd days are what you're going to study, and you're going to put all your hard work. And after this, anyways, you're going to be more free and you can enjoy whatever you want. So believe me, when I was there, the last 20 days were a little difficult for me, but at the same time, I ensured that if I was not putting the best effort in the 20 days, I had to put the same effort 6 months down the line. So as someone rightly said, I think the panel that just think if you clear, how proud it would make your parents. So whenever I felt very demotivated, I used to just visualize I was clearing the exams and just telling it to my parents that I have become a chartered accountant. So if you can just visualize today sitting at your house, yes, what would be the reaction of your parents once you clear the exams, and think the amount of joy and respect that it would give to them. I think that should be a bigger motivation for you to, just push these last 20 days, and not only in this particular part of your life, but anywhere, wherever you face a little demotivation, just think what would be the beauty of the outcome you will be able to achieve over the point of time. So I used to just visualize, yes, thinking, I have cleared CA, I'm just telling this to my parents, the result is popping up. The thought, the visualization alone was very strong enough for you to tell that, yes, it's the 20 days. I think 20 days should not be seen as 20 days of studying. It should be seen as 20 days of good investment. As you say, so right now ODI World Cup is going. So Dhoni always says, you absorb the pressure, build the momentum, and then you attack. The last 10 overs are your exam days. So this 20 overs build the momentum, keep it with you, and then you start attacking in the last 8 days of your exams, where build the momentum. And The one more thing is, as very much rightly pointed out, 1.5 days. I think very, very critical, because I feel CA has a vast syllabus in terms of the coverage, in terms of depth of knowledge which is being provided to every student. So it becomes really very important for a student to ensure that he studies almost everything in the 1.5 days. So how would you go about preparing those 1.5 days? Should be almost set when you complete the end of this month ka revision. Because understand, there are some things, if you don't read it in the 1.5 days, it becomes a little difficult for you to recollect in the exam, given the fact. So you need to prepare for practical subjects. How are you going to filter down the number of questions you're going to do in the 1.5 days? For theory subjects, how are you going to approach those theory subjects in the 1.5 days? Because if you're going and completing 100% of syllabus, it will give you the confidence even before you started writing the question number one. Believe me, because it makes a lot of difference in the world. You know that you've studied 100%. And the moment you sit down on the examination hall, you know that now I've given my 100%. I think it's just merely I have to just produce the output. So it becomes really, really very important for you to plan those 1.5 days and, move on about how will you kind of try to squeeze everything in the 1.5 days in studies. And a few generic points about, please do not compromise on your sleep. For example, I used to sleep 7 or 8 hours even on the day of exams. Tomorrow would be my exam. I used to sleep at least 7 hours, because I knew if I sleep well, I can function better, I can think better. The analytical skills would be much better in compared to exams. So try not to oversleep. Also try not to undersleep at times, because I see a lot of students just compromising on the sleep. Please don't do that, because if you have a good sleep, believe me, your ability to think itself increases by 50 to 60% very easily. So please do not compromise in sleep. And more so, please take care of health. Yeah, this last 20 days, believe me, I was down with fever just 10 days before the exam, which was a big, kind of mental shock for me, because I was very scared whether I'll be able to complete the syllabus or not. Please take care of your health. Try to find out 10-15 minutes, do a physical activity in between a break, eat properly. I think a lot of us really miss out and just focus on studies alone. I think it should not be that way. You study as well as focus on how are you trying to do a physical activity, which will also refresh your brain. Eat good food so that will keep you in stay check. So these things also matter apart from the academic side. And finally, when you're sitting down an exam, do not think whether the paper will be easy or paper will be difficult. So don't just have that thought process in your mind. Just go with the flow. And even if you find the paper above par, believe me, there will be questions which you will definitely know. So you need to stay calm throughout the examination. Be very sorted. Do not panic, because once you start panicking, even you will not be able to pick those questions which you know. In fact, there was a paper which was seen as above par by almost everyone time during the September. What happened was a lot of my peers and myself were very calm, and we picked out those questions which we knew. And we started with this question. So once you start writing those questions, you probably will build up a lot of confidence. And then you go on to those questions might be a little weaker, but eventually when you build that confidence in the first 2-3 questions, you will carry on that with the remaining questions. So be very calm. I think at the end of the day, someone rightly just said, it's just mere an exam. We have a lot more challenges in the life which is going to come ahead. So be very positive. Yeah, just visualize you've already cleared. So it makes a lot of difference, because it is all in the mind. So for a person who has come from a non-rank background in intermediate to score a single digit rank, if it's possible for me, I see no reasons why it should not be possible for any of you. It's very much possible. It's just one thing you need to do is aspire. Have that mindset, I can do it. And I think that's the most important things. Ranks are not made, I think, by brains. It's made by aspirations. I would say it's made by the dream you do. Because I still remember when I sat on the first day of my study leave, I just wrote AR1 on a piece of paper, which is probably taken by Akshay, but nevertheless, AR2 is not less a compliment, I would say. But yes, please do dream, keep yourself very positive, and have that aspirations in mind. I think it's very much possible. So do not let yourself down at this moment. Very important phase, very crucial phase. Be consistent. Aram se finish your daily targets. Go to exam hall. Be confident. Paper khatam hua. Forget about that paper. Move on to next paper. That will just enhance. It's just take one day at a time. बोलते हैं ना कि even in cricket, take one ball at a time. Do not think about the larger. If you are given a target which is very big, you will get stuck in the target. Take one ball, one over at a time. And then try to break down things. Always very simple. Kuch bhi ho, try to break down things, bring it into tangible plan of action for today, tomorrow, so that you'll be feeling much easier when you solve those things. So just keep your health, stay positive, and I assure every one of you here would come out in flying colors. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you, Kalpesh. I think, Kalpesh, very rightly you had said, we should all concentrate on the process rather than on the end result, because that is something is very important. Because if the process is very consistent, very strong, I think end results are going to be positive. Thank you, Kalpesh.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts with the students who are going to appear in the November exam. I think listening to Akshay, Kalpesh, our chairman and vice chairman, I think all will be very motivated. Rather, they would be thinking, why to wait for another 25 or 26 days? Let the exams be there as early as possible, so that we just go and give and just get it cleared. I think, sir, anything, Chairman sir, Vice Chairman sir, you would like to add, or shall I move ahead with Gokul?
Yeah, just one thing. I think Kalpesh made a very good point about sleep and health. I think this is very critical, considering the pressures that everybody is before the exam. And another important thing which I noted, which he mentioned, was that once you finish a paper, forget about it, move on to the next one. Because again, I've seen so many students that after the paper, they exchange the answers, what could be the answer, and then depending on what answer somebody else has given, they consider themselves khud ka answer galat hai, if there is a mismatch, and then they come under pressure and start underperforming or giving themselves low marks. So I would consider, and I use words of phrase which is typically very strong, but it is very, very relevant for our exam. Our type of exam is MYOB, that is mind your own business. Don't focus on what others are doing or what others have done. And one illustration or example I always give is in an exam hall, when a situation where actual the panic sets in is when you find somebody raising a hand and asking for a supplementary. I believe this is something which everybody would have experienced in the real life situation and would have felt that person is asking for supplementary. I see how much I have written, how much I have filled up. Arey Baba, you don't know what that person has written, what that student has written. Maybe he has written one full answer, which would have he or she would have realized गलत है, वो 4 पेज काट के बाद फिर से लिखा होगा और उसका पेपर मीन्स शीट खत्म हो गया हो. There can be n number of situations. Maybe he's leaving one line, handwriting bada hai. There can be so many reasons why that person is asking for a supplementary which you actually don't need. But when we see such situations, we somehow start coming under pressure, we panic, and that also has a direct impact on our performance and our results. So you're just taking a lead from what Kalpesh said, very relevant points, that please do focus on only yourself, and you are prepared, you are going to be successful, and focus on that. Thank you, man.
Chairman, you're talking about excess papers. Just let me give all the people motivation. Kalpesh, for your information, I used 3 papers short in the main booklet of indirect tax. I still remember, and I got 68.
Yeah, I think that happened with me as well. I think a lot of papers students were taking for the elective paper, a lot of papers were coming, whereas I just used one additional sheet. I think where the average, when I asked my friend, they said like we use 4 or 5 every single person. But eventually, I just ended up getting the highest mark among them. I think because my handwriting is a little smaller, so I would have used the most less number of paper. I think barring 2 or 3 subjects, I did not even use additional sheets for that matter.
I think, yes, the gist which is coming out of it is students don't see how many supplementary sheets your peers are taking at that time. Rather, you should concentrate on what you are writing. So end of the day, what you are writing, it's the content what you are writing. And if you are to the point, I think there is no need to repeat the things again and again, because some students are in the habit of writing, and then what they do in an indirect sense, again, indirect sense, they again, indirect speech, they again start writing. They feel writing more is going to be important. Rather, writing relevantly to the point is very, very important. Now I'll come to Gokul's Sai Srikar. He's the first rank holder in the intermediate May 23 examination. So Gokul, now you are through with your intermediate, and now I think you are enjoying your spree as in the practical training also. So I think this, I'll tell you, is the very, I'll say, enjoyable time. Just after too much of studies, now you're into practical training. You can experience, yes, what I had studied in intermediate, I'm making use, and which is you are going to again make use it when you are going to your finals. So just tell your peers what really they need to do at this point of time. Over to you, Gokul.
Good morning, everyone. I should thank members of POS before anything for providing me this opportunity to provide guidance to the November 23 appearing students. The first thing I had in my mind before 20 days of examination was to defer my attempt to November 23, because my friends were like, for every May, there would be another November. So this was the thing. I thought I was underprepared, but this 20 days are going to make the most extreme change in your life. Ensure that you're surrounded with supportive people who are with positive attitude, so that if they are positive, even you're positive. Ensure that you have a balanced diet. The thing I have about life itself, about studies in particular, is discipline is more important than motivation. For example, if you have motivation, you will get it today, you lose it tomorrow. But ensure that you carry your motivation forward so that it creates discipline. The thing next is ensure that you have a sophisticated plan for these next 20 days. For preparing this plan, I searched throughout the internet. I spoke to my seniors. They were always like, prepare for 2 subjects a day. But I did not like that. I always wanted to prepare 4 subjects, and I prepared 4 subjects. So I believe, don't believe in this myths. Create your own things so that you follow things which are comfortable for you. The next thing I would say is ensure that you prepare for your exam by attempting mock tests and RTPs and PY past year question papers. What I did was, before 2 months of my examination, I downloaded all these MTPs and mock tests and revision test papers. And when the clock hits 9 o'clock at night, I used to open at least 2 papers and ensure that I not only prepared a plan for the subjects, but also for the MTPs and RTPs too. So I ensured that I at least attempted 2 MTP or mock test paper or any of the past year paper in a single day. The next thing is, I don't recommend group studies, because you don't understand what is your capacity when you're in a group. So I would ensure that I prepare independently. And the next thing is, for many of the students preparing for intermediate, EIS is one subject which many of them face very challenging. What I used to do is, I used to allocate 3 hours for a chapter, and after the chapter is completed, I used to prepare a summary, that is the side headings of each book. I used to pen them down, because unless you pen them down, you don't understand where are you lacking. And that's it from my side. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Gokul. I think you have given a very relevant points for the students who are going to appear in the intermediate examination. So very rightly you have said, plan your own things and try studying independently, because we do not, you do not know what your other peers are. Maybe they have studied more than you and you feel a bit demotivated. So I think you should concentrate on your own self. Thank you, Gokul. Sir, would you like to add anything? Or I'll go to Noor.
Madam, just to add what Gokul has said, like example, my nephew is also writing his CA examination. He is very good student. And Gokul, I think, when you have completed your entire syllabus, what is required, it's not that you start from chapter number 1, problem number 1. You students should actually think about practice is done, or you have attended your classes, you have attended your video lectures, whatever you have done. The point is, students should do a random study. Like, I should pick up a problem from problem 1, which I won, pick up a problem from chapter number 3, pick up a problem from chapter number 7, so that these all things, examination is not a chapter by chapter problems. It's basically a random study and random problems which come on our table in form of questions. So once you have done your basic study perfectly, now what you should be doing is not going back to chapter, problem. You should actually think about picking up from anywhere, start doing it. You take it from me, all students, I'm telling you, 85% of the problem solutions you will be aware of. And what will be gap is that 15% where you have made some small mistakes, and that is your weakness. What more you want that you are actually getting to know before the examination where the shortcoming is? Practice that part well. That means 85% I'm aware. Am I right, Akshay? You will agree to this fact or not? Most of the time, students are aware of their problem. They know the chapters very well. But only thing which they do mistake is they want to start everything from beginning and do it till then in 20 days. You cannot do that. You bloody just think about one fact. I'm sorry. That only one thing I need to do is a random study. Pick up problems from here, there, take up any chapter. In between corporate law, you think about directors, then you think about board meetings, then you think about the SEBI. Do a random study that gives you a lot of confidence, and you'll get to know what is that which is small thing which is missing. And that is actually a mistake which we generally do. So think it from that perspective and do a bit more careful study and selective study. 80-85% आता है यार, 15% के लिए टेंशन ले लेते सब लोग. बस उतना ही. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I'll just come to Noor Singla. He is the second rank holder in the May 23 intermediate examination. Noor, I think you would have heard your peers also and your seniors also as to what have they covered. Now you share your own experience, because I think everybody have their own unique experience. So you also share your unique experience with the students who are going to appear in the November examination. Over to you, Noor.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, for introducing me. First of all, I would say as Akshay, Kaplesh, and Gokul has shared their experiences, and they have covered a lot of things. But one thing I would like to cover is the exam time, the 3 hours. I actually remember one incident in my FM exam, but it was that when we got 15 minutes for reading the paper, I selected out the questions which I will do for the priority basis. And I started with the question number 2. I still remember the question was ratio analysis. And what was that? I invested 20 to 30 minutes in that question, and I was still not able to complete it. You know how I have how I have studied before 3 months, all over the some sort of disappointment, some sort of the confidence low हो जाता है. So I thought कि I should leave that question and move on. If I would have again tried that question, it would be like I have given my all 3 hours to that question only. But I think we should switch to next question. Then I switched to next question and I solved all rest of the paper. And again I came back to the question, and what I found was it was calculation mistake. And I solved it at the first point. So I would say if you don't know the answer, just switch to the next question, because these 3 hours will not come back. And the reading time is very, very important. And the second thing I would like to point out is now I am going to undergoing the practical training, and what I see is recently I was working on one assignment, and one thing was related party disclosures. I was going through it, and all of a sudden I remembered my AS 18 and the company law, the authorizations, the approvals, the board requires the arm's length prices, all of that comprehensive thing we have to apply at the same point. That I think the practical training helps us to how the theoretical world and how the practical world are interlinked. They are not these separate things, they are interlinked. So that's what I think the practical training is very, very important. So and the ICI material, the RPPs, the past year questions, the mock tests are very, very important. The mistakes you are going to do in the final exams, if you do that mistakes in the mock test, uh, it will not reduce your marks. I would say it increases your confidence. So how I am right to write in the final exams, the time management, because what I see is some people say that if you write exams of 60, 70 marks, it will be okay for me. But I personally prefer to attempt 100% of the paper, because you don't know what's, what minute mistakes you have made. So and I would say the paper comes of 120 marks, not the 100 marks. So I would like to conclude my this by quoting one quote, which is अभी कुछ देर की खामोशी है फिर शोर आएगा, अभी कुछ देर की खामोशी है फिर शोर आएगा, हमारा वक्त आया है हमारा दौर आएगा. Thank you.
Thank you, Noor. I think you have just hit the nail at the right point. And thank you very much. And Noor, one very good thing you said was, like, whenever you are struck up in any of the questions, don't keep continuing with that. I think one should leave that question, should proceed to the next question, because you have the limited time with you. And I think you need to really plan your time in that manner that you are able to attend 100%. So students, kindly note, Noor is saying you need to attend the 100% paper. Don't leave anything, because you do not know where you have gone wrong, though you're trying to do the right. So attend the 100% question, which is really going to bring you that particular success which you are aspiring for. Thank you very much, Noor. Sir, would you like to add anything, or then we'll move to the question answers?
Listening to Noor and Gokul, I am reminded of that Shahrukh Khan's dialogue of Chak De India about that ye 70 minute. Noor was saying about those 3 hours. I can relate to that, where he mentions कि भाई आज तुम अच्छा खेलो या बुरा, ये 70 मिनट तुम्हें जिंदगी भर याद रहेंगे. So I believe that is something that Noor, Gokul, Kalpesh, Akshay, everybody is hinting at, that these 3 hours, what you do is going to define your future. I think that was pretty motivating.
Thank you, sir. I think, sir, very rightly, you have also said that Chak De India, because they need to rather score well. So if they do they concentrate on those 3 hours, it's going to make all the difference. So that is the best they need to give, because these 3 hours will not come again, because they have to do it. They have to give their best, and that's really going to reap good results for them. Thank you very much. Sir, now I'll come to the question answers. The first question which I am posing to Gokul. Gokul, the students who are appearing in this intermediate examination, they're really concerned as to how really they should prepare for the law paper. They are not actually sure as to how they need to attempt this paper, how they need to study, and what they need to write in the question. So just cover from your side as to how you are going to advise them to prepare for the law paper and how to write for the law paper.
I believe the question arises because the foundation attempt in November 22 was a little difficult in the law paper. So coming to the law paper in intermediate, it is quite easy. It is not as compared to the other group 2 papers. The theory paper, it is actually a very good scoring paper. The thing is, the students believe that all years first read the section and write the answer, but first read the whole section and ensure that you remember the section number. But it is not necessary that you remember the section number, because after 2 to 3 revisions, you will remember the section number. So the format, you need to write this law paper is, first you need to write the provision down and then the facts of the case, and in the last conclusion para you should correlate both the section and our current case and provide a conclusion. So the for law paper, and also I would recommend to read the MCQs from the MCQ module which ICA provides us. So MCQ is also again scoring in the law paper. Law paper is actually very scoring in the group one.
Thank you, Gokul. Sir, anything you would like to add from your experience, sir?
Well, I think Gokul has correctly answered about the remembering the sections and referring to them, and only when you do the repetitive study that they would get registered. But I would also say that it is not mandatory to write sections. If you are not very clear, not very sure of the section reference, you might as well can avoid them.
Akshay, the next question, I'm posing it to you. It's about the financial reporting, the paper number 1. Students are, Akshay, while attempting the question on the consolidated balance sheet, they are actually they feel that they are not able to complete this particular question in time and they get struck up. So what are the tips you would like to give it to them for doing this particular question?
Yeah, so in terms of the usual recommendation coming in is that you take up other questions first, the simpler ones, and then after you are done with the simpler questions, you move on to the consolidation question in the end. But what I did was I began with the consolidation question first. I knew that it would take a lot of my time, so I utilized a lot of my reading time, 5 to 7 minutes, in just coming up with the reading the consolidation question thoroughly and fully. Marking the adjustments, jotting it down in rough what I should be doing, what I should not be doing, and the rest of the reading time was allotted to other questions. What sort of question, what simple questions should I be touching next, and what should I be leaving in the option. So you can use a lot of your reading time in just coming up with the adjustments in the rough, and then begin with the consolidation question first. And then when you are done with the consolidation adjustments, you are done with all the working notes for the consolidation, and all that's left is your balance sheet. You can maybe prepare a rough balance sheet very quickly, taking up 4 or 5 minutes, because all the adjustments are done, all the amounts you have in your hand, all the account heads you have in your hand. You can make a rough balance sheet and then move on to the other questions in terms of jot correctly, giving us subdivisions of the balance sheet, or forming the notes of the balance sheet. Right, all of these things, they are supplementary. These can be done. In the end, these do consist. Have marks allocated to them, but it's not as much as a different question, a simpler questions would give you. So these things you can keep it for aside for the timing, and in the end, when you have the time, you can come to the balance sheet back again. Form the notes of the balance sheet. You already had the structure of the balance sheet prepared. You can subdivide it and form the notes of the balance sheet later.
Fine. Right. You are very rightly said, Akshay. And Akshay, I think students feel that their balance sheet need to tally. If they feel that their balance sheet has tallied, everything is done. Just throw some light on this also.
No, that's not how.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that's not how it works. If you think that getting a tallied balance sheet will leads to a correct answer, that is not how it works. So it's a double entry system, right? You can put something in the debit side, you can put an opposite figure in the credit side. That will make your balance sheet tally, but that's not how it works. You have to make the correct adjustments. You have to make the working notes for those correct adjustments. For the examiner to understand how you are coming up with these figures. So of course, tallying a balance sheet is an indicator that your answers are correct, but just having a tallied balance sheet does not ensure that this is the perfect answer.
Very right, Akshay. Kalpesh, I am posing the next question to you. I think it's another question on financial reporting itself. Students are usually, they are really very worried when it comes to the financial instruments. So I think they find it very tough. So just give them some tips as to how really to prepare for financial instrument question, and how they need to rather attend the question when it comes in the examination.
So I think a larger barometer why people might find it a little difficult is because that's a bigger revelation from AS to NDS, because AS did not have financial instruments at its own time. So I think having a little background might feel that it's a little difficult. So I would say, yeah, so it's financial instrument itself is a very, very vast topic. So the first step, as I said in my earlier talk as well, please divide the whole subject into smaller pieces. So start with definitions, you divide, then you come to measurement, subsequent measurement, valuation, disclosure. So you divide the whole chapter into smaller pieces and then slowly start working on each of the kind of subtopics, so that will give you confidence. So the first and foremost thing you need to do is achieve the clarity of the standard. What is the standard trying to say you then, rather than focusing on some the first reading or the first time you even take up the standard or in the subsequent revision. So try to get a grasp on how the standard works, or what is the relevance of a standard saying a particular direction. For example, it is asking you to value in this. So what is the reason, or what could be the reason? So break down the chapters, understand the flow of the standard, and then try to have a grasp. A standard is asking you to do this, or standard is asking you to do that, and then you work out on a larger sum. So don't go on and start with the larger sums in the first, and don't be in a hurry to finish the chapter. It's a very important chapter from a final point of view, because it has a lot of not only in academical relevance, but when you go out in practical world also. I think this is one of the standards which has a larger implication. So I would say give a larger amount of time, because it's an important standard. So when you give good amount of time, you will have the conceptual clarity, and then start practicing a lot of questions. I think that is a game changer, because the moment you start practicing a lot of questions, you will understand there are specific types of questions that are being asked, which could be on definition, which could be on valuations, or which could be on, say, amortization. So you will know the set of questions that the institute or in general it is asking. So you will be able to find where are the finer aspects of the standards, and where are the standards when it becomes tricky. So until you go through the whole standard, you will not be able to figure out. So in crux, it will be very simple. Break down the standard, have the grasp on the concept, start practicing, give good amount of time. That you cannot just sit for 2 hours or say one day and finish the whole standard and reading for the first time. So give a good amount of time, because it is a very important standard, not only from exam but also practical point of view. It will really help you post qualification also, because when you join up any particular type of practice, I think this is one of the changing standard that's going to happen right now. So yeah, that would be my 2 bits of advice.
Okay, Kalpesh. Akshay, would you like to add anything to what Kalpesh has actually just talked about, this financial instruments topic? You would like to add anything else?
Yeah, so financial instruments, it's new, right? But it's very logical. It makes a lot of sense. Whatever is happening in the standards, it all makes a very good amount of sense. So you just have to keep asking questions when you're doing it for the first time, right? So let's a very rudimentary example from this standard is when you are putting in a security deposit. You have to record a certain amount of interest, if even if it is notional interest. But if you are depositing, let's say, a sum, as a security deposit for your warehouse, for whatever lease rentals that you're taking, if you are putting in a security deposit, and if you are getting the same amount of security deposit back, so you have to not only record this as a security deposit, but you also have to record a certain amount of interest, because you're getting the money back after 4 or 5 years. So the entire standard makes a lot of logical sense. When you are doing it for the first time, ask questions to yourself, see that the standard has answered all of those questions that you are asking to yourself, that would naturally come to a person, right? When you are studying something for the first time, all of these questions are answered, everything is logical, everything moves in a sequence. So when you are doing it for the first time, try and understand that sequence and try and apply that sequence when you are solving your questions.
Right. Very rightly, Kalpesh and Akshay, both of you have, I think, given the very key points for attempting this particular topic. And I'll come to Noor, I'll come to you. Students, Prajapati has asked as to how really to study strategic management and EIS.
So strategic management and yes, what I used to do is when I was reading the text from the institute material, I used to highlight and underline the keywords which I feel is very important from the perspective of examination. And after and second thing is after completing one chapter, what I used to do is, because in the institute material, it is written in the text words, but if you want to revise it 3 or 4 times, you cannot do it uh, given the time for the examination. So what I used to do is after completing one chapter, I used to make mind maps. Like I have studied one concept is, and under these concepts, these are the key pointers. And if you write these key pointers in the examination, you are going to score really well. Because if you write the long story in the examination, you are not going to score good marks, because you have to in the examination you have to underline the key points, key words that are important from the perspective of that question. For example, if we take strategic management, if we take the competitive advantage, there is concept called competitive advantage, and if you don't put any example in the final exams, the examiner will not give you the full marks. So you can put up the example of Indigo, the other airline companies, how they are applying the practical concept practical world. It will enhance your marks, and it will also help you in the practical world. When you go out and work for the clients, it will really help you.
Right. Very rightly said, Noor. Gokul, you would like to add from your own experience for this EIS and SM? I find that the students at the intermediate level, they're really very worried about these two papers. So can you give them some tips from your side also?
Of course, for EIS, what most people say is the side headings are the only important things. But some people also write only the side headings in the answer sheets. But along with side headings, you write the meaning of the side heading, you derive that, and you write things in your own language for the side headings. So just don't write the side headings, but also write a brief on the side heading when you write the answer. For SM is also very good scoring. So focus on what you know better. If you know SM better, start with SM and write EIS at the end. And also for EIS, I recommend you to do more of MCQs, because EIS writing some people face is difficult, but for EIS MCQs, it is quite easy.
Thank you. Thank you, Gokul and Noor. Now I come to Akshay. Students at the final level, while actually attempting the paper of auditing and professional ethics, they feel that they are not, whatever they are writing, they are not able to score well. So how really they need to attend these questions and what they need to write, because they feel that they find it very boring. They said it is very, very theoretical, which I think again is a misconception. So I would like to just tell about this particular paper.
Yeah, so for audit, it's a technical subject, right? So you have to use technical words first and foremost. You have to use the technical words. You cannot really use bland language or whatever comes to your mind and try and explain the concepts here. It is a technical subject. You have to use the technical words. Coming to how it's a very theoretical subject. So a lot of us have our articleships in auditing. It is possible that the concepts or the ways that how your office audits something is not really in line with whatever is given in your notebooks. However, the standards of auditing, those are very consistent, those are very similar. It is possible that your office may not refer to standards on auditing, but whatever they are doing according to the standards. So it is possible, it is really helpful when you inculcate the habit of maybe reading through the standards, going through the standards while you are doing your auditing internship or articleship, so that help you correlate with your practical experiences while you are studying audit. You'll be able to realize that this is something that you actually did do while you were auditing a client or while you were on an audit assignment. So that is that. And the third is constant revisions. Given that the theoretical nature of the subject, there are a lot of words, there are a lot of standards, there are a lot of concepts. So constant revisions is what would help. Audit is something that I revised subsequently significantly more number of times than I revised any other subject, audit and law. So constant revisions are something that that really help a lot in auditing. And also MCQs, as Gokul rightly said, MCQs is something that you can try and get a good score in, so that out of the 70 marks of paper, 20, 30 is what you would want if you are looking to pass the subject. So try and get a good amount of marks in MCQs. For that, it requires studying the ICI material, right from the beginning to the end, covering the entire thing, having a sense of what is where, how things function, all of that.
Right. Yes, Akshay, you have rightly said. I think here auditing is one paper which, while studying and while doing your practical training, I think these two things are really going to help you when you're going to attempt your particular question paper. And students, you should be very careful about the standards of auditing, because once you're doing the practical training also, while you are doing the training, you must correlate as to which standard, which auditing standard is relevant for this particular area, like for audit evidence, documentation. So this is what you are doing it in the practical training, and you correlate how really to maintain the documentation, what is the audit evidence should be like. So, and these things are really going to help you while you are attempting your question. So Kalpesh, you would like to add something more?
Yeah, just 2 points. Number one, I think what I have seen as an experience is standards in auditing do carry a lot of weight. They definitely carry around 40 to 45 marks of your paper. So I think when such a portion of your paper is very certain to come from a specific part, that is a standards in auditing, I think you need to give more emphasis. I think a lot of times students, which I even like when some of my friends, they did not really kind of look upon the standards, but I realized the value or importance of standards in auditing, because it definitely comes up with 35 to 40 marks, I think. So what I ensure is every single day, an hour I would just spare for studying 2-3 standards on a constant basis apart from my daily day. Because what used to happen was, because audit is such a vast subject, again broke it down. Standard is one portion, professional ethics is one portion, company audit is one portion, other audits is one portion. So every day I used to read 2 or 3 standards to just ensure that I'm able to grasp a better flow on how the standard works. So I think number one would be, please do not underemphasize the standards on auditing. It is a game breaker for you. And also for the fact that many of you would come from an audit background, and definitely more or less, though not directly with the standard language, but colloquially you will be having an understanding that the way the standard works, you would have definitely done some kind of work. For example, audit planning, when it comes, you would have done, yes, engagement letter you would have taken, audit report, you would have drafted an audit report. So all these points may not be directly line by line, you may be able to relate, but to a larger extent you can relate it. So I think it's a very scoring play, standards in auditing, and believe me, standard institute does give you marks. And I genuinely believe that for me, standards in auditing was a very big game breaker. And for the other audits, like someone just said, please, because audit is such a vast, you need to concise it, give multiple revisions, and start figuring out the technical words, so that you will be able to fastly move on in the 1.5 days for that particular thing. And I think that's so you need to do a constant revision, because there is a difference, because it's a theory subject and you need to quote down all the technical words. It makes a lot of difference if you kind of do multiple revisions. So that would be true.
Right. Thank you, Kalpesh. Vishal sir, I think, sir, I think you are the one who can now just give as to how really to attempt this paper, sir. Audit papers, especially how they need to deal with it, sir.
Yeah, I think the students have I would say Akshay and Kalpesh have responded to it, that this is a technical paper, theoretical paper, but has lots to do with the practical experience also that a student undergoes during the practical training. And standards on audit is something which typically I've seen that students run away from them. Let me be very honest, very candid. But this is something which is extremely important, not just from a exam perspective, but even a career perspective. Because ultimately, as chartered accountants, we are auditors. And standards on audit is something that if you go through the standards on audit, then you can be sure that you would be able to be successful and maybe score even very good in the audit paper. A lot of the processes and the technical aspect with respect to specific situations, the case scenarios and all that get covered, they would revolve around the standards on audit. So if the principles of the standards on audit are clear, the objectives are clear, then I think that the students should be able to crack the audit paper. These are my views.
Thank you, sir. Very rightly, sir, you have said it, sir. Sir, now, there, sir, would you like?
Madam,
Yes, sir.
yeah. There's one interesting post which I received just now, and I want to take up that question. It has come on LinkedIn from a student from Calcutta. This is for all you guys, I think, if you can guide him. Sir, I am a CA intermediate student from Calcutta, but unfortunately, I am in continuous failing. I am failing continuously from November 2018 examination in corporate and other law papers. I'm not able to recognize my fault in this paper. I am not getting any proper guidance because ICI doesn't have any kind of system of schooling, which they are telling. But dear student, one thing is that ICI has a, what do you call that, madam? We have the students
live learning classes.
No, not live. The students can reach out to us for clarification.
Queries. We have the ask your queries. We have the live learning
Ask your
classes.
query. Yes, and you can also reach out to us for taking any kind of guidance with regards to any subject which is required. Right? And he's been talking about something more, but the point is I don't want to discuss that. But if you guys, anyone can actually, who has been stronger in corporate laws, if you are able to give him a guidance, I think that will make a whole lot of difference. So there's a long message which he's dropped. You are able, I don't know whether you're able to see it or not, but issue was only corporate law papers. If you can guide them.
I think, sir, you have taken words from my mouth rather. Sir, this was the next question I was going to pick, which had come from the student. The student said, I have been failing in this particular group because of the law. Said, I am not able to rather attempt this paper well. So, Gokul, can you just guide this student?
Ma'am, with respect to law, reading the question more importantly, ma'am, because law, the provision changes when there's a small change in word itself. So when you first read the question properly, you'll be able to answer that properly. So ensure that you provide that 15 minutes a quality time so that you read the question properly. And also with respect to law, the thing I referred is live coaching classes of May 22 batch, because I had a lot of time after my foundation. So live coaching classes of May 22 was really good for law for me, provided by ICICAT.
Very rightly said, Gokul. Students, you must note that ICI is conducting live learning classes for each attempt, for each level it is being done. Wherever you are struck up, you must see these classes. If you are not able to see them live, you can see the recorded lectures. They are on our BOS knowledge portal. Come over there and the entire playlist is over there. Listen to that particular topic. I hope your queries will get resolved. I think it should not be a problem, student, to pass this exam. Anything you would like to tell about the law? I think students are finding it difficult.
For law, I would say when you are reading the provisions of the law, don't try to mug up that. I would say try to understand the implications of law. First, understand what the law says and how it goes. If you only read the text and mug part, and you will not help to it will not help you in the exams, because in exams you are going to face the case studies. The question would be this has happened, and how the lawyer should do it, how what the act says about it, and how you will implement that. So I would say first understand the text and try to relate it to how it is going to affect the practical world. Then you will able to understand how the things work, because it is not the because only reading the theory is not going to help you at all. So I would say understand the text understanding the text is very, very important.
Very right, Noor. Students, you must note that for especially the law papers, you should understand the provision of that particular section. Try reading the commentary which is coming over there, because and then the illustrations are there, which is going to rather make your concepts very clear. So read the entire thing and the total thing in entirety. I think your doubts will get cleared. There, sir, if you have something specific for the law paper.
See, law paper, the only thing is, when you read, you feel that you have understood. Then you close the book, everything you lose out of mind. That's only because the way I believe is, I think Gokul was talking about 2 subjects versus many subjects in a day, right, Gokul?
Yeah, Gokul was only talking.
What I suggest all our students is auditing, corporate law, right, EIS, are some papers which are theoretical, right? Auditing, corporate law, EIS, or might be something more where the theory is part of a little larger section. What I request everyone to do is every day, half an hour, you read that paper. If you're not confident about law, corporate law, what you should do is, example, board of directors composition. You just scribble it on a paper or go and tell your mother. What will happen is that 1/3, more than 1/3, less than 1/3, 2/3, 1/3 calculations are all those errors which generally happen with students. Am I right? We don't remember. Akshay, you will also agree to that. The calculations which are there are actually a mess. Sometimes what it is, कितना मेरा proposition रहना, audit committee composition क्या रहना, independent directors कितने रहना, non-independent directors कितने रहना. So all those things are small errors which we do. You remember the law, there is no problem, because law can be written in simple English also. But where we impact is that calculation which is actually coming. So students have to understand that by repeating certain things, you will not do mistake. And when you are sitting on an examination paper, you will actually get confused. Is it more than or less than, equal to, what it is? And certain small things like this actually shake your confidence. You think that you've written the paper perfectly right. But the answer is like, less than and more than or equal to. And that calculation goes for a toss. These are small things. There's nothing which, because the question is of 6 marks. And that small mistake actually strikes the entire thing and we go back to 0. It's like a snakes and ladder story. So my suggestion to you all people is, don't get worried. It's very interesting paper. And again, I'm telling you, I told you, my father taught 50 years back, completed CA. 25 years back, we completed. Now on the 0 year, you are there. So for all of us, the facts are same. The examination is not tough. It is only here. We actually make mistakes. That's all.
Sir, very rightly said.
Also, just wanted to add. Law is something that I also had a lot of trouble with, right? But now in hindsight, I realize why the trouble stemmed. So, law for law paper, as Daya sir rightly said, that in the calculation you make a lot of mistakes. So I did not really practice a lot of questions. I did not solve a lot of questions. I was just reading the material. It seemed very easy, right? So the language is there. It seems very easy, but when you try and apply it, you tend to forget a lot of facts. So that if you can practice a lot of questions, if you are making a mistake in those questions, then that mistake will get solidified in your brain. You will probably not be making the same mistake when you see a similar sort of question again. So solving questions also helps a lot in law. This is something that I did not do, and I had a lot of trouble with law. So this is an advice in hindsight. So try and solve as many questions as you can for law.
Right.
Madam, I would also like to add, not with respect to law paper specific, but I feel overall the students, the challenges with respect to theory papers, definitely law, audit, EIS, all those papers, if I bunch them together and I look at it, they all would come under the basket of theory papers vis-a-vis the practical papers. So here I would just give my views, my thoughts is that the students should also do a SWOT analysis about what are the times of the day when they are able to focus the best, and also categorize the subjects or the chapters accordingly. Many times what happens is that, again, I'll talk of myself, that early morning is something when I can give my 100%, because there is a lot of, I have taken a good night's sleep. Morning I am fresh. I would say the environment also is very peaceful, calm, not much of noise, not much of distraction. And that is where I have always put my best. And how I used to plan the mornings was that definitely, like everybody else over here, I would say that definitely practical was something which I loved, and theory was something which was second to practicals. But how I used to plan was that initially when I used to get up early in the morning, I first half an hour or something, I would do the practical paper. That would just charge up my batteries, that would re-energize me, bring me to the level of focus that I want to, and then immediately I would switch to some theory paper. Because at that time, what I believe is that I'm at the peak of my concentration, at the peak of my focus, and then maybe next couple of hours, I would be doing the theory papers. Welcome, President, sir. Very, very good afternoon, sir. I believe so the challenge is between theory and practical. So students, we take this opportunity to welcome our Honorable President of ICI, CA Aniket Sunil Talati ji, and our Honorable Vice President of ICI, CA Ranjit Kumar Agarwal ji. Thank you, sir, for joining in spite of your travel and your busy schedules. Sir, I would just like to brief. So what we have done is that we have this session on this plan, prepare and perform for the students of the November 2023 intermediate and final exams. And so this time we changed the model a bit. We have invited the 4 AIRs of the May 2023 exams, the first 2 AIR, Akshay and Kalpesh, of the final exams, May 23. And also the intermediate exams, May 23, the AIR1 Gokul and AIR2 Noor, to address the students. And they have been interacting with the students. And sir, I would just like to brief everybody over here that at the Board of Studies, we take a lot of initiatives and activities for the students to prepare them for the exams. So we do the live learning classes, which happen every 6 months for the November as well as the May attempt. We have concluded the mock test 1, which started from 5th of September and ended 14th September. And the second mock test series for the November 23 inter and final exams are continuing. Presently, they started on 3rd of October and ending on 11th of October. And in between these 2 mock test series, we had the BOS for your success sessions, which were taken by the faculties of the Board of Studies and addressing some of the critical issues for the intermediate and final levels. Sir, we also have the subject-wise capsules. Our monthly CA student journal is there, which covers in a diagrammatic way all the capsules and subject specifics. And so we have also come out with 8 subjects of Saransh, the last mile referencer, on accounting standards, Ind AS, auditing, cost management accounting, strategic cost management and performance evaluation, the financial management, the strategic management, and company law. So these are the 8 papers where we have already come out with Saransh, and also the RTPs. And we also have the Ask Your Queries from the BOS knowledge portal, as well as the app, where students ask queries that they have relating to any topic or subjects. And the BOS ensure that within 48 hours, the queries are responded to the students. So these are the initiatives and activities that we conduct to ensure that our students get the best of the education and are able to successfully clear their exams. So once again, sir, I welcome you. Madam, over to you.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for apprising everybody about the BOS initiatives. I welcome our President, C. Aniket Talati, and our Vice President, C. Ranjit Agarwal. Sir, thanks for joining us. And we are seeking now, sir, I'll be rather requesting our Vice President, sir, to kindly share his experience with the students, sir. Sir, though your experiences are a bit old, but like we said, experience never go old. They are always fresh. So would like to hear from you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bandanaji. Very respected our 2 council colleagues, Vishal Doshi ji and Dayanyava Sharma, and very respected our honorable president of ICI. He is sitting along with me in the car. We are going to Trembkesar in Nasik and praying for all the students who are appearing for this November 23 so that they can qualify this November 23 examination. On behalf of all of you, we are going and pray for your well-being. And thanks to all the rank holders who has got not only the rank, but has the audacity to guide as a mentor to their younger ones. And that is the spirit with which they have learned this chartered accountancy course, the articleship training. And thank you very much to all the 4 rank holders for giving your time and mentoring the younger brothers and sisters. As far as this examination is concerned, rightly said by Chairman Vishal Doshi sir, this Sarans, I like very much this 8th subject Sarans. Just to recap in diagram, in a very beautiful way, pictorial presentation and diagram. So it's very helpful to the students to recap whatever they have studied in last 6 to 8 months. And as this examination is the month of November, so hardly 1 month is left. So my only advice to all the examinee that which might be recommended by this rank holder also, whomsoever has passed this C examination and whomsoever devoted their time and energy so that they can clear this examination, before the examination, completely aloof from the social media. Because if you are aloof from the social media for 2 months before the examination, I guarantee that whole concentration, your deliberation will be on the examination subjects, and you will be more inclined towards clearing this C examination rather than those who are at the 24/7 social media. Because both the things cannot have to go together. Either you can clear the examination with 100% focus on the big issues in social media and the learning. So both have the challenges to work together. So if you can disassociate yourself from the social media till the examination, it will help you to concentrate more and clear this examination. All the initiative which has been deliberated by the chairman of this board of study, go through it and take full advantage of the various tools this board of studies is giving. And I wish all of you best of luck for your November 23 examination. I wish all of you come out with the flying colors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing and giving your guidance to the students to restrain themselves from going to the social media till their exams are not done. Thank you very much, sir. Now I'll request our Honorable President, sir, to kindly share his experience. I think his experience, they are not very old like us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vandaji. Indeed, not very old and therefore hopefully relevant to the crowd which is tuning in today. I have with me the Honorable Vice President of the Institute, Ranjit Agarwalji, the Chairman of this very important Board of Studies, Vishal Doshi, the Vice Chairman, Dhanewaz Sharma, the rank holders who I had the occasion and the pleasure of calling in person while the result was declared. And I saw that they were the rank holders, starting with Akshay Jain, AIR1 in final, who comes from Ahmedabad. And I believe he also had the AIR1 intermediate examination. Jain, Gokul and Noor Singla. I'm delighted to address your presence to students because you are going to be the Vandaji.
So I think, sir, if you your voice is a bit breaking, sir, if you can switch off your video and then just be on the audio.
Okay, I'll try and stop at a location so that the connection is better. If you can confirm if it is better now, then we will probably continue.
So now it is better. It's
Okay.
better.
So what I was mentioning, the first rank holders this is the first rank holder of the final exam, Akshay Jain, Kalpesh Jain, the second rank holder, Gokul, Noor, and all the other students who are joining in. It's a matter of pleasure for us to address you this morning as you approach your examination in this November. This is going to be the last attempt for the old course, and therefore a very important attempt for many of you. who are trying to clear the chartered accountancy examination. I would also mention that it is going to be very crucial that you all put in all your best efforts in this examination so that you are able to Yes. So I think it's going to be extremely crucial for all those of you who are appearing in this exam that this is the last attempt under the old course. And from May 24, you will have examination under the new scheme, under the new subjects which have been devised under this new scheme. And therefore, very critical that you put in all your best efforts to clear the examination in this attempt. I think some very important, valuable advice has been given by Chairman, Vice Chairman, and of course, the Honorable Vice President today. I would only urge all of you that this is a truly life-changing course. And once you clear the examination, there are endless opportunities that await you, not just in India, but internationally across the world. Today, ICI is present in India through its branches and chapters in 160 plus locations through its regional councils and branches. We also have presence internationally in 83 cities and in 50 countries. In the campus placements recently concluded, we have seen opportunities from not just India, but from so many international companies and international locations. So therefore, there are tremendous opportunities that lie in front of you. But what is important is that you put in your best efforts and critically are able to appear in this exam, prepare well, revise the course at the right time, and stay away from all distractions. The institute, as always, will try its best to give you the best infrastructure to appear for this examination so that you can all come out with flying colors. With these words, I compliment the Board of Studies for taking up this session, and I wish every student all the very best.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your thoughts. And I think your motivation and Vice President's motivation, words of motivation, are really going to inspire the students for the forthcoming examination. Thank you very much. Now I request our Vice Chairman, sir, to kindly give his vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. I'll go back to where I started from. Now, when the president also talks what my father spoke 50 years back, every person, if you have talked about, have you heard about, are the same advice which is actually coming in, right? I think the rankers also sitting here, they also gave the same advice. The president of the institute gives the same advice, vice president of the institute gives the same advice, chairman, vice chairman, all give the same advice. So dear students, it is nothing but your own confidence which you need to carry with yourself. We can only just show a direction, can give a guidance, but the path which you need to walk is what you need to take efforts for. And always remember one thing, forget everything. The moment you feel low, just think about the smiling face of your parents, smiling, happiness of your friends when they are going to be around you when you get the results. See, in life, everything comes up, down. And when we see our president, vice president, president happens to be the youngest president ever in the institute at the age where he is sitting in and seeing the world differently from his eyes. Vice president comes from a different part of the country, which is actually giving us a lot of confidence that, what is happening around is happening around. And we need to put our best efforts in the entire process. At that stage where they are, they actually have gone through the material which institute has released. That is the confidence which you all should carry, that the study material of the institute is vetted by the president, vice president themselves. They look into it because that has to go as a benefit for the students. Might be they miss out certain other thing, but they don't miss out reaching out to students. That's been the culture all throughout from the beginning of this institute, where the focus of president and vice president has always been the students first, and then the members, and then the world. So we all look forward for all your success in time to come. President sir, thank you very much. Vice President sir, thank you very much for joining us today. Though we know, that, you are in Nasik and you are traveling from one destination to other destination and you are putting your best efforts. But just imagine reaching out to all you people I think we all should be thankful to these gentlemen who are putting their best efforts, even to steal time from their toughest hour. That makes the life different. And we should be confident and thanking these two people to make it possible and to be with us always. And be rest assured that the entire council also will be with you people at all times. I also thank Kalpesh, Gokul, Akshay, Noor for making it possible. And you made it simple. As a student, you have given that confidence to all the students. As I said, when you are able to inspire the aspirations, I think you made the difference. And yes, your words of wisdom, just imagine, is going to just click once in one person's mind. And that motivation when they take it forward in the examination hall, and that determination with which they are going to write the examination, the kind of result which is going to come out. Thank you all guys for making it possible to be there with us and giving that motivation to all our students and be with us in all this journey all together. Yes, we will see how we can actually make a portal where you can interact with all India rankers, not only for the present, but over a period of time. They can actually come as mentors and guide to our students. We'll ensure that part also is being taken care at the Board of Studies level. On behalf of the chairman, I can actually assure that fact that whatever I spoke now is going to be a reality in time to come. We all will be available for you, not only for the examination, but during the entire journey of your studentship, which you are going to be part of. And we'll ensure that you don't lose confidence, but we stand with you with confidence to get you that confidence back, to make it possible and make it big. Additionally, I thank the Board of Studies Director, Vandana Nagpal, for being it, making it possible, ensuring all the students are being connected effectively. All the Board of Studies faculties have been connected, together. I cannot thank my chairman because we both stand together for sharing, your dream, which is the dream of future, to be chartered accountants. We are excited to see positive results in time to come. Be rest assured, night 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, we are available to share that confidence with you again and again. Don't hesitate to reach out to us directly on is there. And if you require this, all four, are going to be available for all you. Thank you all. Thank you very much for making it possible. Best wishes. God bless you all. Make it possible. Remember the dreams of your parents. I think you'll succeed in life. No one can stop you. Be rest assured. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, President, sir. Thank you, Vice President, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gokul, Noor, thank you. Thank you, Vannaji.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, President, sir, Vice President, sir, Chairman, sir, Vice Chairman, sir, Akshay, Kalpesh, Gokul, Noor, and my entire BOS team. Thank you, everybody, for being over here and making it possible for the students, and all the best to the students who are going to appear for the November examination. Work hard and success is going to be yours. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All the best to all the students. Thank you.